question. So something that people do ask me is like, how do you build a roadmap, and how do you determine what you're going to build for the year ahead, and then how does that go into design, into engineering, and ultimately out to customers? And so a key focus should be, you should start with what are the company objectives. And so company objectives filtered by kind of the mission and vision of the business. So a company objective could be, we want to increase share of wallet for our customers by 35%. What that means in English is we want our existing customers to spend 35% more money with us. So this is several companies ago, but that was a prompt, and then it was given to product to go figure out what are new products that we could add or attach to the business that would then increase the subscription for our customers. So increasing share of wallet. And so that's the prompt, what this is the financial objective. And then the mission and vision is, blah, 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 given the company. And so then you want to make sure that, okay, if the top requested feature is the more efficient management of time off requests for hourly workers. So people keep asking for it. What we have today is very bare bones. It's not solving our customers' needs. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start interviewing customers. We might even start with a survey, which is very low effort but high return of, we're going to survey our 500,000 businesses that we support today and understand what components do you want to have in a time off tool. And so something that we heard from customers was, I need to understand, is this like a time off demand because my grandmother passed away, or is this like a time off request because I'm too hungover from this weekend's partying? And so managers wanted to understand the nuance behind the request. And so we saw an opportunity to layer on some of that nuance in a visual perspective for our members. And so we determined this like time off tool would be very, very lucrative. And as we started with a poll and we did survey data, we then, with a subsegment of kind of our super customers, we then conducted interviews to understand, what would that look like? How could you have increased confidence that when you scheduled Charlie, he's actually going to show up for his job, and that the time off requests give you the right level of context associated with Charlie's life? And so then from there, we then fine-tuned, okay, well, what would you pay for that? Do you pay a price per month? Do you pay price per employee for the scheduling software? So it's $1 a month per employee. So as a product manager and a design lead, you're thinking through, what's the business implication? Not only is like, what's the customer problem? What's the beautiful thing we could solve to better empower our customers? But then also, if we go spend 6 months solving this, what's the financial implication? Does that help us increase share of wallet, which was kind of the yearly goal for the business? And to what degree could we increase that share of wallet? If the average customer spends $1,000 with us each year, could we tack on a $35 value that is compelling enough for customers to say, yes, add that to my account, and then stay with us year after year because we delivered enough value? So you've got your company objective. Then you do your, we'll call it directional research, surveys, look at the industry. Then once you have some directional trends, you then talk to, sub-segment of customers. You identify who are our key personas. Okay, it's restaurants, it is hotels, and it is bars. And so we want to make sure that the people we're interviewing represent the personas and the key customer segments we need to always support, because a bar may have different demands than a hotel. A bar, as an example, for time scheduling, they need people to work past midnight, and time scheduling software does not like when you work for 2 days. And so we needed to make sure that we were solving for like a time off request that spanned not only Thursday night, but also to Friday morning. And so that's why it's really important that you nail your personas and you understand those key segments, so that, again, when you're at an impasse, you're trying to figure out what to build, you can say, well, does this serve the bar owner? Will this support hotels, or will this go against what a hotel needs relative to a restaurant or a cafe and a bar? And so then as you're, again, getting closer to the problem, you start to get some directional sense of, okay, I need to know, is this a I'd like to have time off, or is this I must have time off and I'll quit over this, right? Because it's death in a family. And so we wanted to make sure that we could maybe even color code the level of request that a customer was giving, or that a staff member was giving their manager. So that manager could somewhat say, okay, Charlie never takes time off. I think this is authentic, and let's make sure that Charlie has that time off, and let's move around the schedule based off of, this request. And so, and then based off of some of those components, you then identify the kind of key boulders that you want to deliver on that year, determine what is the MVP of that, right? Do we do a beta, and then ultimately you launch it, measure it, and then rinse and repeat.